Today we're going to be installing this brand new set of AST coilovers on our 2024 GR Corolla. Oh, look at that. Ooh, check it out, check it out.
You gotta get the POV.
Oh yeah, POV. I don't know what's in there, but let's just open this whole thing up. This looks like hardware, maybe. Yep. They really do not want this stuff to get hurt. This is great packaging right here. Oh, an end link, maybe? I don't know. No idea. Kind of looks like an end link, just super long. This is sick. We got the user manual. It's got this nice laminated sleeve. Oh, what is this? Oh, that goes crazy. That's cool. There they are, the big boys. This packaging is so high quality. I like this. Oh yeah. These are so beefy. Oh my God. Look at the size of that spring. Dude, these are sick. This is your preload. And then you got your camber adjustment up top. This is sick though. These are so much heavier than mine. First things first, we gotta get the car up in the air, so let's get this jacked up. Throw it on a lock. Now we're good to start the installation. Now we do, if you remember, we have these beautiful, I believe these are RG3s, if I'm not mistaken, but they are 18 by 10, and we have a 285 tire on there. We're gonna go ahead and zip these off and, you know, see what we got going on under here. All right, let's get these suspensions on. All right, we're gonna start with the rear, and it looks, wow, do I not even have to get in the car? I don't think I do. That's kind of nice. I hope that's how it is. I think it is though. If you look here. Yeah, it looks like you don't even have to get in the car. You just undo it and do it right there. I like that. Good job, Toyota, on your design. Because like I said before, we're not dropping the car a ton. It's literally gonna drop like ½ an inch. This spring is gonna get compressed quite a bit. And then, you know, based on how high you want it, you'll just keep tightening it and that spring's just gonna get closer and closer. So that's kind of how it works. That's why there is no height adjuster, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. This is for a track setup though. I mean, these are nice coilovers. This is the 5100 series. So these are actually fully upgradable. You're able to put a external reservoir if you want to in the future. So they have these set up so you can just upgrade them as you go. And you know, as you get more serious when you're tracking your car, like you want external reservoirs and things like that, you're able to do that with these. So that's why they're, you know, pricey, but for a good reason, you know? All right, so after inspection of the rear suspension, we just have 2 bolts up top that are 17 mils, and then we have 1 bolt that is holding the bottom of the coil in, or bottom of the shock in. Once we get that dropped out, this spring right here should just come right out, and we'll throw that in the trash, and then throw the suspension on. Oh, nice. So I did it from, I just reached my hand here so I can get really good leverage on the wrench and just pulled it down. That helped a lot, or you could probably just get it from the bottom too. It looks like it's pretty accessible from down there. So to get the spring out, because this is a divorce setup, you actually want to put a pull jack under here just to take the tension off, and then we're going to hit this 17 mil right on the side, and it should just come right out. We're actually going to be getting rid of the spring because our whole assembly has a spring with it. So once we get that out, then we're just gonna knock this off after we take these 2 top 17s out, and everything should be completely off the car in the rear. And we'll get the new AST 5100 series put back on the car. This doesn't have to be like pushing this whole assembly up crazy. It literally just has to take the tension off so we can get this bolt out. And there is a nut on the other side, so just be wary of that. But go ahead and press that up, get some tension off. And these being new cars, you can just hold the nut on the other side with your finger. You don't need a tool for that. There we go. Got the nut off. This will actually just spin out. If you just keep going, it'll spin all the way out. There we go, we got it off one side. And it should just, actually, so we don't bind it up, we'll raise that. There we go. And now, since this is a spring, it is sprung. So be careful when you're taking this off. Just slowly lower it until that spring is free. Now, I know other suspension companies do divorce setups for this where they'll have an adjustable spring in the rear and then they'll throw a shock on it as well, but these ASTs are just one assembly piece, which I kind of like. All right, so I'm gonna spin this all the way off. All the pressure is pretty much off of it. And the spring is just about ready to come out. Just get this out of the way. Fold this guy down. There we go. Now, there is also a rubber piece down here that you have to take out, but it is just sitting in the bottom there and it goes in just like that. Make sure you keep this. If you plan on ever selling your car, you know, you're putting nice suspension on it. You can sell it with suspension, but if you want to revert to stock, keep this in your parts pile. All right, with that out of the way, we're going to be hitting these two 17 mils up here, and then we're gonna knock the whole assembly off that bolt back there. I love working on new cars, it's so nice. All right, bolts are out. So now let's go ahead, and all we have to do is knock this off, because if you bring the camera down here, look at the back side of this, you have this bolt that is coming out. All you have to do is knock this assembly off that bolt. So you can either do it by putting a crowbar on the base, or I'm gonna try to just smack it here, and I'm just gonna smack it with this, see if it'll. There we go. Use a rubber mallet. Don't beat this with a metal mallet. You're not gonna hurt it with a rubber one anyway. All right, so for wear purposes and noise purposes, I don't want it to squeak because this rides just like this on both sides. I'm gonna throw some grease in between here, and it's not gonna hurt anything. They don't necessarily call for it, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that anyway. So we're just gonna take a little fingerful of that. I'm just gonna lay it on there. You don't need to go too crazy, but it's good for the longevity, you know? I took this bolt out because what we're fighting with right now is the angle of this dowel goes like it's slanted down, and the spring and everything on our coilover is hitting all this stuff up here. So I just can't get the right angle to go on here. So I undid this top bolt, so hopefully that brings it level enough to where I can slip it on. So let's give that a try now. Please work. Oh yeah, that'll go. Oh yes. Now that's in. Just go ahead and zip everything back on and should be good to go. This jack is coming in handy pretty well. If you're doing this on the ground, you can just use like a car jack, obviously. All right, now that that is all up in the air and everything's good, we're gonna go ahead and put the bottom washer and nut on. Do not forget the washer. That just threads on, same way we took it off, so slip it right on there. This is a 22 mil. Like I said, I'm just grabbing it through the front of this here. I know some people tell you to take off this black under shield, there's no need to do that because you can just do it all right here, right in front. All right, so to do the front, we need to take the hood cowl apart so we can get to the top hat bolts. So I'm gonna pop the hood and we'll get that cowl off. Okay, so as you can see, top hat bolt location, strut tower right there on both sides. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this off and we'll get the top hat bolts taken apart. The first thing that we need to do is actually remove the windshield wipers, and then we'll be undoing this tab right here on each side. This whole thing will come right off, so let's get started. Boom. Two clip. Okay, now that those clips are out, there's two more. I thought this came with it, but I guess not. All right, where's that one? All right, now all four are out. All right, we're gonna remove 4 clips from the hood cowl. It'll be 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the other side. And then once that's done, you just go ahead and pull. You'll feel a little bit of resistance, but not much. And then that will expose this plate here, which we will need to take off next so we can get to the top hat bolts. So after we remove the plastic cowl, we need to remove this entire metal assembly here. And that consists of 3 14 mils on both sides. And then you gotta bust these 10 mils out. But before you do that, you gotta take this 10 mil out and then this 10 mil under here so you can take the windshield washer assembly, or sorry, the windshield wiper assembly out. And then we're gonna remove these wires here. And then once everything is removed, oh, side note, not side note, but before we remove everything, there's bolts along the entire firewall. So there's 2 or 3 behind here and then those 3 over there. Once all of this is removed, then we will take this black plate out and we can get to our top hats. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this black piece. That didn't break, it felt like it did, but didn't break, we're good. Go ahead and remove this 10 mil on this end. Crack it loose, and then this one all the way down here. Crack that one loose. We're gonna pull this windshield wiper assembly off. But these actually have washers attached to them, so once that's done, she's got these rubber grommets there, and then one on the back. And then you're gonna go ahead and unplug your connector to your motor. And that rear one, what I did was I slid it towards the center of the car, because if you look here, that's how it lays in there. So the grommet sits in there, slide to the left and it'll come right out. I don't have any panel poppers, so just push that side in and then maybe push this side in over here. Now that you got all your bolts out of your hood cowl, I think we should just be able to pull this guy all the way off. If I'm not mistaken. Nice. Who put that L? When you take your hood cowl off, you'll notice that your top hat is actually already done. So that's why our suspension is hanging here, but the top hat is off. I just need to take the wheel off, and then we will be able to take the 2 bolts out of the hub, and then we'll drop it down. But let's raise the car up a little bit, take the wheel off, and then we'll get that suspension off. All right, now that the wheel is off, we can go ahead and take the 2 bolts out of the hub here, or the knuckle, take our end link off of the sway bar, and then go ahead and throw that new suspension on, and then we can install our sway bar end links. All right, first step, we're gonna be taking the wheel speed sensor bracket off, and there's just 1 clip here, and then a 14 mil here. And then you can take it off this wall if you want. You don't have to, but it is an option for you. And then once you take the wheel speed sensor off with the bracket, it also will remove your brake line. So take this 14 mil out and then pop this off and you should be good. All right, once you get all of this stuff out, you're gonna go ahead and come back here and you're gonna pull off your sway bar end link. And that'll just be a 17 mil. All right, once you take the nuts off the top and bottom of your end link, we're gonna go ahead and zip these two big bolts out of the knuckle. And these are 22s on the top and bottom. There is no camber bolt in here, so you can just zip them off. We're gonna go ahead and remove these two and then we'll get the sway bar out of there. There we go. Get out of the brake line. All right. Got that out of there. Now we can get the new AST suspension put back in. All right, so just grab one nut. Go ahead and just slide this up in there. Make sure everything is lined up correctly. And all you're gonna do is just toss a nut in. I'm gonna go ahead and toss a couple on probably, but once one is in, you can kind of just let it hang. I'll just throw all three on just for good measure. I don't want to mess up any threads or, I don't know. I'm just weird like that. We're gonna get the knuckle lined up at the bottom here, and then we can bolt on all of our accessories, and we should be good to go. We also need to set ride height when we do this, and we're gonna do that by adjusting the preload. But that will come after we get the wheels and tires on and put it on the ground so we kind of see how low we are. Send her home, Bob. Nice. Now that both sides are the same height, I went ahead and tightened down this top nut here, and then we're going to tighten down the bottom, and then I'm going to lock down these collars as well, and we're going to do that on both sides. I also already tightened the actual collar itself, so everything should be tight as far as the sway bar stuff goes. The preload and all this stuff is still loose, so we can adjust that, but I'm just getting the sway bar to be the same height. All right, now that everything is tight and the sway bar end links are all tight and in place, I'm gonna go ahead and measure the collar height here so we can adjust these and make sure that they're identical. And then we're gonna throw the wheels on and drop the car down and see what our ride height looks like. So I'm just gonna probably raise this a little bit just to get that preload up. But I'm just going off the top of this collar because our two collars are identical. So I'm just gonna go 1 inch. All right, there's an inch there. I'm gonna do an inch on the other side. Okay. Now the two sides should be about identical right now. Let's go ahead and throw the wheels on, lower the car down, and see what ride height we got. And now we can put on the wheel.
Ooh, that was a good shot.
Look at the rear.
The rears are dumb.
Oh my God. We're Stancy boyed up. Look at that. That's probably the ride height you want, right? That's a good fitment.
That's good.
That's
really good fitment.
That's sick. So unfortunately, this thing was turbo dumped and tucking really bad. I don't think it was hitting. You can fit a lot of tire under here, but we need to go up probably like at least 2 inches. I mean, this thing was, the fronts look good though. The fronts are perfect. The backs, I would say 2 inches, 2.5 inches. So cue the montage of me cranking this way up.
Montage of you cranking it?
I'm gonna make eye contact with Eric while I crank. All right, so this is that god tier fitment right here, but everybody at the shop hates it, so we have to raise it another inch-ish to match the front. So as you can see here, our preload is now maxed out, and we are 5 inches up from the base. Hopefully, this will match the fronts. If not, we will. I guess we'll have to lower the fronts. Oh no! Oh no! We might have to lower the fronts an inch. Dude, 5 inches is a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like when I look at it here, that's a lot. All right, so after a few more modifications that we've done to the car, I had to play with the end link adjustment. So I moved the end link collar all the way down because we are running a 285 on here, which The 285 was just rubbing between the collar and then the end link bracket itself. So I moved the end link bracket down, moved the collar up about 1/4 of an inch. So now there is no rubbing. The ride height is square all around. And all that is left to do is to align the car, but we are still waiting on a few more suspension components. So that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in part 2 of giving this a sport alignment.